And every site I've checked so far lists Roy Nelson as a favorite. I have Cheick Kongo winning this fight by knockout.
I got to disagree with you there.
Yeah.
If Junior Dos Santos couldn't knock Roy Nelson out, then I doubt very highly that Cheick Kongo can. And I think that Roy can knock Cheick out. So
I just have a feeling that Roy's due for a knockout loss.
Well, it's going to come eventually if he keeps
Kongo.
taking punches to the head like that. Yeah, I don't think it'll be this fight, but I do agree with you on that, is if he keeps taking shots to the head like that. I mean, if it can happen to Fujita, it can happen to anybody. You know, those of you who are listening who aren't conversant with MMA history, Kazuyuki Fujita was an amateur wrestler who was known as Ironhead because he would just let people hit him in the head until they got tired. And that includes Mark Kerr holding his head and kneeing him in it. And he would just walk through everything, and they would get tired, and then he'd beat them. And Fujita eventually got to the point where he got knocked out with a jab. You know, everybody's got so many headshots in him, and then it's over. But I don't see Nelson being at that point yet, although I would like to see his head movement get a little bit better. And by his account, he's been working on his head movement lately, so hopefully it means that he won't be getting punched in the face so much.
Yeah. Steve, your thoughts?
Yeah, I was, I guess we can go ahead and make this our official predictions right now, but I definitely saw Roy Nelson as the favorite of this fight because to me, Cheick Kongo has, sort of diminished in his, ranking, not just in terms of where he's actually considered as a heavyweight, but just in the terms of the way he's used in UFC. It's like, now he's become the gatekeeper heavyweight. It's like, beat this guy, and then you're moving to the cream of the crop and getting, you know, the best fights out there. It's like, Roy Nelson, if he beats Cheick Kongo, that's like his gateway to eventually getting a heavyweight title shot.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, maybe it's my upset pick of the night, I'm not too sure, but for some reason I just have that vision of Kongo winning by knockout. I could be dead wrong, and if I'm wrong, you know, it's not the first time on this show I'm wrong, but that's my pick and I'm sticking to it.
If I'm going to make an upset pick, Peter, I'd actually go with Pat Healy over Jim Miller, and I know that's a rough one to make a pick, and 9 times out of 10 I would pick Jim Miller, especially after that fight he had at the end of the year in Vegas, but Healy could just out-wrestle him for 15 minutes.
I don't know. Paul, what do you think?
Actually, I'm going to agree with that. Healy's an underrated grinder, and Miller, I'm not sure if he's been affected by, you know, what's going on with his nephew, I think, is having a lot of health problems right now, and he still performs really well, but he's had some brutal wars as well. Whereas Healy, I don't see him as having taken quite as much. He's been hitting the head a lot, don't get me wrong, but he's just got this grinding style that makes it really hard to get one clean knockout shot on him and get a really hard blasting shot into his head. And Healy's been looking like he's getting steadily stronger over the last couple of fights. And I think he might just shock the world on this one. One thing I do think is that this fight's probably going to be very entertaining because both guys fight the same way. And that style against some other styles can make for a boring fight. But I think when you put two guys of that style together, it probably is going to look like two Tasmanian devils going after each other.
Yeah, I think so too. And these guys both have to know that considering how packed that lightweight division is, that if you go out there and have an impressive performance, that's your only way to advance because otherwise there are a million other guys in that weight class trying to take your spot right now. So they're not going to go out there and look for a boring fight. They are going to be tearing into each other trying to get the win.
Yeah, I mean, I look at Miller's record, and he's been win-loss, but the two losses were against Nate Diaz and Benson Henderson. So pretty big names in that weight class. But I see this fight actually going to a decision. I'm going to say Miller by a close decision.
All right, well, let's go from there to the Davis Magalhaes fight that we talked about a little bit ago. Peter, what do you think is going to happen in that one?
I got to go with Phil Davis, Stevie. I think he has all the tools to win this fight decisively. I'll even say stoppage in the third round.
Okay, well, I don't underrate Vinny's submission game in any way, but at the same time, I've seen Phil Davis get in the cage with submission experts and be able to come out with the win. I mean, there's just something innate about him. It's just still the skill set that he has, the tools that he's learned that I think he's able to come away with the win here and not get submitted. So I'll ask Paul what he thinks.
Yeah, I'm going to make you unanimous. I mean, wrestlers are just animals. Elite level wrestlers even more so, and I think he's going to be too physically overwhelming for Magalhaes, and I just think that I don't think that anybody but Phil Davis wins this fight.
All right, well, we already talked about Nelson and Kongo, so let's get a prediction on Bisping and Belcher, and Paul, this time let's start with you.
I'm going to go with Bisping by stoppage. I think that he's another guy who's been looking stronger and stronger with every fight, I think. Win or lose, that's a guy that is a real serious threat to anybody who stands across the cage from him. And, I just, even though he's stumbled here and there in the past, I just think he's an incredibly dangerous guy and a very smart fighter, too. And while, like I said, I think Belcher is easy to underrate, I don't think this is a gimme fight for either guy. I see Bisping winning.
Yeah, I actually thought he was winning the Vitor Belfort fight right up until the point that fight got stopped. It was just one of those situations where he pulled the same thing we saw in the Dan Anderson fight. He basically circled the wrong way and walked right into his shot. So other than that, that's the only thing. When you say Bisping stumbles, it's like he can be winning a fight right up until the moment he gets finished. So if he doesn't stumble in this fight, I expect him to win it as well. But Peter, what about you?
Well, it's not a title eliminator fight, so I'm going to pick Bisping. I always consider...
How did I know you were going to go there?
I consider Bisping like Uriah Faber. If it's not a title fight, he'll win. If it's any sniff of a title fight, he's going to lose. But, I think Bisping has definitely the advantage in this fight over Belcher. I'm going to say second round stoppage. Probably later in the second round, but I would be very surprised if Belcher wins this fight.
All right. Well, are you picking an upset in Sonnen Jones, or are you going with the champ?
I'm actually going with Chael Sonnen on this one.
Okay. Well,
I don't know if that's an upset or not.
Well, it's not an upset to Chael Sonnen, but what do you think? Is it knockout, submission, decision? What do you see?
I'm going to say decision.
All right, Paul. What do you think?
JLP for the win. Period. My prediction for every Chael Sonnen fight: Chael to win. And yeah, I can see it being a decision as well. Chael is, I don't think I'm going to be hurting Chael's feelings at all by saying that he's not a finisher, but he is a grinder. He's overwhelmingly powerful, and if I was a bookie, I would have John Jones as the odds favorite in this fight. Absolutely, I would. But my prediction for every Chael Sonnen fight is always Chael to win.
Well, if it comes to winning minds and hearts, Chael Sonnen's promos have already won me over, but I'm just going to say that I think it'll be a good fight. I don't think it'll be a quick fight. I think that Sonnen will go out there and last with the champ, but I think the champ will prevail in the end. So it'll be an entertaining fight. But
John Jones is a huge favorite in this fight across the betting board. Like, I'm looking at this site here, all the different sites, all the boards, and John Jones is a very, very huge favorite in this fight. Maybe it's because of the trash talk with him and Sonnen and saying that after he breaks the record for most title defenses, he'll jump to heavyweight. I don't know, but I'm just amazed at some of these odds. Like, one of them has John Jones negative 1,040 to Chael Sonnen plus 760. That's a huge difference.
Damn,
there.
That's worth putting some money down on, just in case.
That's a sport bet, yeah.
If you got $100, put it on Chael. Why not?
Hey, you know what, man? It's funny. This sport's still young enough that the bookies get it wrong sometimes. I made a killing off of GSP's title victory over the first time he claimed the title over Matt Hughes. I could not believe GSP was at positive 130 in that fight, and I was like, what sport have you guys been watching? And the same thing in this case. I mean, like I said, by all means, John Jones is the odd favorite. I have no argument with that whatsoever, but giving somebody $760 for $100 bet on Chael, I would say bet on Chael.
Absolutely. And I think some people probably cleaned up on that Matt Brown-Jordan Mean fight, too, because I believe Mean was like a minus 400, minus 500 favorite in that one. And if I'd been putting down money, I'm not saying I didn't expect Jordan Mean to win going in. I did expect him to win, but it would have been one of those, I'd put $100 on Matt Brown just because he's Matt Brown and he can knock people out. And that's exactly what happened. So I would have cleaned up on that one. I bet a lot of people did.
Somebody else is dropping the ball, too, because why are we not seeing because I'm Matt Brown t-shirts? That should be the answer to any question.
Yeah.
Why is that? Because I'm Matt Brown. Period.
Yeah, and then the immortal on the back of the shirt, and that would be all you need to say.
Yeah.
That would be I'm going to buy a Matt Brown t-shirt if I ever see one at a UFC convention. But, Peter, I want to look at this prelim card real quick. Hey, what sticks out to you? I like the look of the Sarah McMahon-Sheila Gaff fight. What sticks out to you?
I'm actually going to go down to the Facebook fights with Leonard Garcia and Cody McKenzie. That looks really good.
Yeah, that should be a fun fight.
Yeah, that's good. That is going to be awesome. Either Cody McKenzie is going to rip Leonard Garcia's head off, or Leonard Garcia is going to punch Cody McKenzie's head off. Either way, I want to see that.
Mm-hmm. And I sort of am curious about the Brian Caraway fight, too, because I'm wondering, last time he got some bad advice in his corner, and considering that fight is coming right before McMahon and Gaff, it's kind of funny how that works out.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're not gonna. I gave you a chance to take the bait on that, Peter. You're not gonna take it.
No, I know better.
All right, Paul. Do you want to take the bait on that? Considering Misha Tate is Caraway's girlfriend.
No, to be honest, and I don't mean any disrespect to Brian Caraway. He's just not a fighter I pay a lot of attention to at this point. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, if he starts doing exciting things in the cage, then I'll start paying more attention to his fights. But for now, and again, this is meaning no disrespect. I mean, the guy's in the UFC, for God's sake. I never fought in the damn UFC. But yeah, I don't really have an opinion one way or the other.
Yeah, my opinion is that as much as I respect Misha Tate, don't listen to her when she tells you you're ahead, you're winning the fight. I always hate it when a corner tells a fighter that. It's like, don't ever tell a guy in the third round that he's winning a fight. Tell him anything other than the fact that he's winning, because you know it's going to the judges, and you can't let fighters think they're ahead and let them coast. They got to go out there and win every freaking round.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I mean, we talked about that earlier in the show. Is you don't know what fight the judges are seeing. You also don't know what's going to happen in subsequent rounds, and you know, who cares what you think? You know, what the fight that the trainer is scoring is not the way it's going to be scored. So even if you think you've won every single round so far, you're right. You go out, and even if they say, okay, you're going to play tactical this round, your aim is still to win the round, even if it's in a defensive fashion. You know, it's not go out there and coast.